Hi, I'm Monnie Aleahmad, your host on Train Talk, where we talk with a lot of interesting individuals about their lives, their passions, and what makes them human. So, join us, because we're all riders on this train called life. Well, thank you for joining me on the train. I really appreciate you being here. Before we get started into anything, why don't you first just tell us, who are you?
I am Sheldon Woodson. I come from Gary, Indiana, hometown of Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Which I always have to, say just in case people don't know who comes from there. Michael Jackson and Jackson 5. Right out of school, the first thing I want to be is Michael Jackson. So I trained, learned the dances, all this stuff, and I was going to be in a talent show. It eventually got canceled, so I couldn't do that. And then later, I stayed in music, but I also was an artist. And I wanted to first be like Charles Schultz, the Peanuts writer.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I had people kind of destroy that dream saying, oh, you can't make no money as an artist. So eventually, I got off of that, and then, I just started reading. Like, I joined the military, and I used to see, people, because before I joined the military, I never read novels. Like, I didn't know why people read novels. I was in the military, and I saw, just people in line, because the lines would always be long to go to chow, because I was on the carrier. So they would have these big novels, and I would just ask them questions like, man, what's so interesting about that book and this and that and whatever? So you just got to challenge yourself and look at one. So I challenged myself to read a book, a novel, one of those big old thick Stephen King 800-page ones, and it blew my mind. So then I decided I wanted to be a writer. So I started writing. Different stories, different novels, short stories. And because of Stephen King novels are like 800, 900, 1,000-page long, I said, man, if Stephen King can write a 1,000-page novel, I think I could write something. So I wrote a book called Destination. And they say, write what you know. So I came out of religion. So all I knew was the gospel, Jesus, and dying and going to heaven and stuff like that. So my book was called Destination, and it was about a person. It's about three different things, really. An intertwining story. But it's about a person who didn't live life properly. He ended up dying, and then he was going to face the judgment of Christ. But then there was a guy accused of his murder, and he was going through a trial. And then there was another person in the film, well, in the book, who was just going through trials of her boyfriend being in this murder charge, and then her trusting in God. Why would you put me through this? And then they all, towards the end, it comes around to a good ending. But the book, it's my first book. I put it out, and I got picked up by Carlton Press, which they was pretty big at the time, and it did numbers. And I said, wow, this is my route.
Wow.
But because I was in the military, I didn't get to explore it, because every time somebody came around, because I had somebody want to do a movie of the book, but every time they came around to talk to me about it, I was underway. I was always deployed.
I see.
And so I kind of got frustrated and decided I'm not going to do anything until I get out of the military. But I just ended up staying in 24 years. I saw the book market change, because I did come out with a few other books independently. And I just saw that there was really no new artists. All you hear about is Stephen King and John Grisham, like all the big shots, and really no new writers. So I decided the big next thing that combined, first I wanted to be a musician, then I wanted to be an artist, and I wanted to be a writer. Movies. It combines them all.
All of them, yeah.
That's what I decided on to be in the movie business.
Wow.
And so I started writing screenplays. Also short stories that I converted into screenplays. And I went the route of, sending my screenplays to production companies. And I will always get the letter back. We don't take unsolicited scripts or whatever.
Sure.
I didn't know the route, because when I first started doing it, there was no books that taught you how to submit.
I mean, it's still messy.
Yeah, there was nothing to tell you how to do it. So then eventually I saw that, while in the military, I saw that Spike Lee was doing a military commercial. He was doing a commercial for the military. And so I went to the audition to try to see how to get in. And then I noticed that they kept asking people, you know, when I was way in the back of the line, do you play an instrument? And I was just like, man, they're looking for people who play instruments. And at the time, I wasn't a part of a band. I haven't had nothing. You know, I wasn't doing anything in music. So when I stepped up, they just asked me a couple of questions. They weren't interested in me. So they just asked a couple of questions to dismiss me. And they said, okay, well, we'll let you know. I said, you guys looking for somebody who play music? They said, oh, you play music? I said, yeah. What do you play? Everything. You got a band? I said, yeah. So, you know, I know people that was in music.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, well, bring your band back here next whatever, and we'll get you, we'll see about, we'll do another interview.
Sure.
So I go back to the ship. I know people that's in a band, and I told them, and I said, hey, we need to form a band and go back, and then y'all be my band. So we go back, and they like the interview. They're asking, what do people play? And these are real musicians. I'm like a fake musician, just sitting there. So they all, he plays jazz, he plays rock, he plays guitar, all this other stuff. And so we got called back we had to bring a demo tape of our music. So we got together and we wrote songs and we recorded the demo tape. We ended up taking the tape back and we got selected.
Wow.
So I ended up meeting Spike Lee. We got into the commercial, I met Spike Lee. First thing I did was give him my script.
Yeah, nice.
2 weeks later, we don't take unsolicited invitation. So I just felt like, after a while, I think later on, here comes YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at interviews and almost everybody that got started, Matt Damon. I mean, they was kind of in the business, but they had to do their own thing to get noticed.
Absolutely.
Sylvester Stallone,
Yep.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, all these people who, almost like 85% of the best known and best actors in the business, even production, like we was talking about Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
They have to do their own thing.
Exactly.
To get noticed or to get on or
yeah.
whatever. So I decided I gotta do my own thing.
Boom.
So I just started buying equipment when I had the money. And eventually I made, COVID happened and it stopped me because I was trying to get Monique. I was going to all these comedy shows trying to get a comedian to be in one of my films, like an indie film. Because the comedians, I would notice, every time I went to a comedy show, they kept talking about, they trying to get noticed by Hollywood. I'm trying to get noticed by Hollywood, but nobody will pick me up if I can just get a gig. And I'm thinking like, man, well, you need to do an indie. All the other interviews I'm hearing, these people got in indies, even Jim Carrey. Yeah. Ace Ventura, and that's how he got started. Everybody financed and got in their own indie, and then Hollywood noticed and picked them up. So I went to these comedy shows, and people that talked about the business and being in the film. I went and I would buy the VIP pass, so when I get backstage, I can say, hey, I'm an indie director and indie filmmaker, and if I can get you in one of my films, we do a short, you get noticed by Hollywood, you're the name, I'm the talent, blah, blah, blah. And, they always say, oh, yeah, talk to my manager, and nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
But then I got to a point where we almost had everything good to go. We talked to Monique, we went to her show up in Vegas when she was stationed there at one time. And then, right before we got to do the film, COVID. And we waited, it wasn't over. We waited, it wasn't over. It waited. And then time just kept passing, and I said, you know what, I just can't keep waiting. Because I don't know when this is gonna end, and I gotta do it. And so I talked to my wife, who's, she's out there now, but talked to my wife and said, we gotta do this film, and you need to be my star. What? Because she don't want to act.
Yeah.
Because she don't want to remember the lines and all that stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but she ended up doing it. We did 2 shorts.
Oh wow.
One of them was more so silent, and the other one was it's more dialogue driven.
Sure.
And the silent one, which I thought was the better one, didn't do numbers. Like I put it in the film festivals, and I got a lot of rejection letters. But the other one, I got accepted in some, but. The second one, that just kind of rolled off of a whim. It did numbers. Like first film festival, I got in, won awards. Second one, back to back. I entered like 50. They say you only get out of 10, you might get in 1.
Yeah.
So Now I did like 50.
Yeah.
So I applied for like 50 different film festivals, back to back, almost up to like 75%. I got in.
Wow. Yeah.
Official selection.
Yeah.
And then I won awards.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that was my quest. And then from that film, the second short, which is called Come Outside, it's on YouTube. I ended up meeting a producer who has a studio in, I think it's Fallbrook. And you know, he wanted me to come check out his facilities, and everything I kind of wrote in the script had to do with the cabin and the studio and the grounds. And he basically showed me around, and he was trying to get, work with some partners. And I said, yeah, let's do something.
Yeah.
So you got a script? Yeah, I just wrote the feature to my short, Come Outside.
Yeah.
So we ended up filming that there.
Nice.
And then that, won a bunch of awards at the festivals. I ended up meeting a bunch of celebrities, which I'm not gonna say names, because I know some people, but it's still to the point where to work with them, you gotta have a budget to pay them.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do anything without getting paid.
Absolutely.
And getting paid what they're worth.
Yeah.
So, but I have got contacted by some heavy hitters, mostly TV.
It's amazing.
Some movie.
Yeah.
And now I have another feature film that I did a little bit late last year. It's winning a bunch of film festivals, and I'm working on getting it released. Actually, my movie Come Outside is on Tubi,
Ooh.
Amazon Prime Video, Plex, and then a couple of indie channels.
Nice.
And then I'll release. I'm working on Vessel. I'm working on the trailer.
Cool.
To put that up on the with the distributor. So
Share it with us. We'll have like some stuff listed on the screen, and maybe we'll post some stuff in the comments if you have like a link or something.
Right.
That'd be cool. So like, as a filmmaker, what are some of the current like struggles that you think are that you're facing today?
Mostly people who say yes, but mean no.
Okay. You mean like cast, or you mean
cast, crew, people who everybody says they want to be in the movie business, but then when they find out that I'm an indie, so I gotta do movies on the weekend.
Yeah.
People don't want to give up their weekends.
No, that's true.
So I was casting another movie that I'm doing. It's called The Creeks. We did everything. We got everything set up. And as soon as I shot the schedule out, and we this one we actually did auditions, and I got money to do the film, so I'm paying people this time.
Nice.
As soon as I shoot the schedule out, I can't be there for this, or I can't be there on these dates, and I can't be there. So every time I would change the dates to try to help one person, the other person can't do it. So if I put it for this person, that person can't do it. And I'm trying to rearrange the schedule and the script. I'm moving around the strip boards just to try to film these people, and they got to a point where I can't do the movie with these people.
No. Like, there's only so much you can accommodate, There has to be a point where this is the set schedule. If you can't make it, we got to figure something else out,
That's eventually what happened.
Yeah.
And then when it got to that point, then my lead actress had got in a car accident, and then she couldn't do it.
That happens.
2 weeks out. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like there's been at least like 2 productions I was on that like someone got injured, and they're like, well, we have to wait, Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, normally I would try to film around, but I put this because she helped me on my first and second film. I wrote this as a feature for her. Like I try to write things to kind of just show your talent.
Yeah.
This is your piece. We're showing your talent, especially once I get to know you. It's easy for me to write for a person when I know you. Like, we talk, I know your style, then I can write for you. Write towards your strengths.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw with her, because she's a theatrical actress.
Totally.
But I guess the universe said no.
Sometimes that's just how it goes sometimes, right?
Yeah, but to that question, that is the thing. It's more so people.
Yeah.
The obvious thing is usually money.
Oh, yeah.
Money is always the big thing.
Yeah.
And it's not more so just paying people, because I can get people for low amounts and make some kind of back end deal.
Sure.
but the problem is, you know, you make the film, but marketing is big time.
Marketing.
So if you can't market properly, then the film's out there, but ain't nobody gonna see it.
Exactly, nobody's gonna see it. That's another huge struggle. Is marketing itself is so challenging now, and like the landscape of marketing has changed. You know, like not a lot of people watch regular TV, so a lot of marketing has to go just directly online.
Right.
You know, and everything about, you know, the way that we consume media has like changed so drastically. I think even since pandemic. You know.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. There are a lot of unique challenges I think that filmmakers face right now.
It is. It's like it's easy and hard at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Like access to certain things is easier. Like we have better equipment that we can all get access to, but then finding a way to get a finished product in front of people, it's somehow more complicated. You know, like I feel like YouTube is a nice route if you just want to make something to put up there, right? But then if you want to market a film that can then be something that you can get some money out of, you know, like hey, it's a business, you know. Like YouTube is not for that, but it could get you maybe notoriety for the future. I don't even know. Like what is the way to get your films out there?
The problem is nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody knows. Everybody has a theory, or you can talk about your. So if you're successful, then people talk about their successes.
But it doesn't always translate.
Yeah, and you do it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. You write an outline and you follow it point by point. It's like, I'm not getting the numbers.
It did. Yeah, yeah.
I'm still not getting the numbers.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
You even bring on, you know, people. Like Joe Rogan got his show, and Joe Rogan gets numbers big time.
Oh yeah.
And then I watch other people that's kind of like in the same class of Joe Rogan, and they bring those same people on there. No numbers.
No numbers. Yeah.
I say, well, it's not the guess.
It's honestly sometimes it's just like the audience is already built in. They already know what they're expecting, and like you just can't compete with that. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
you gotta wait for some kind of viral moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't know what the viral moment is.
Yeah, because you can't pre-plan them usually. They just kind of happen. You know.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's interesting. So let's say that we have a budget for a short film, or not for a short, for an independent feature. Okay. And I don't know, like, I guess, what is even a good number for a budget? 500,000, 2 million, you know, like for a low budget film, you know, like?
You know, to me, it depends, you know, because I would say you can, you know, for a good indie, I mean, you can do, but it depends on how you, what kind of indie are you doing?
Yeah.
Is it because right now I do contained, what you call self-contained.
Sure.
Self-contained, what, 2 locations, maybe 3?
Yeah, yeah.
Or one, perfect if you can just do one.
Oh yeah.
So you don't really have to worry about moving around in location, and you can, you know, plan your shots. Like Hitchcock already had all of his shots, and he's known for like doing one location shots, and everything's planned out. Every actor knowing their lines, and and he's able to shoot, you know, after the practice and everything, he's able to shoot 3 days.
Oh yeah.
Because everybody knows everything.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
he's working with Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
he's working with the heavies.
Yeah.
So the main thing, if you don't have somebody famous, it has to be, like they say, lights, camera, audio. Then you worry about the talent, because the quality. Just me being in the film festivals, like I've shot to Sundance, I shot to Cannes, and I shot to what's the New York one?
No, that TIFF is Toronto.
Well, TIFF too.
Yeah.
I shot them.
Nice.
And I got in TIFF, didn't win nothing, but
Tribeca.
yeah, Tribeca.
Yeah.
Now Tribeca and Cannes, they actually sent some feedback back,
Oh wow.
and they were saying that they liked the concept, and they liked a lot of it, but production was just not that great. And I already knew that going in.
Sure.
Because I have to sacrifice. Well, doing my first film, I had to sacrifice the audio. I just didn't have anybody. I didn't have anybody.
You do what you can.
So I had to. I thought about redoing the audio, like afterwards, but then when I was trying, the lips just wouldn't match up.
Yeah, it's tough.
So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna try to boost it on here. So you always hear like this uneven audio in there. So a lot of times for me, number one, especially coming from them, is you're competing with quality. Quality audio, quality sound. I mean, quality sound, quality visuals, and lighting.
Yeah.
So, if you're coming in with just a story and concept, because I always went for story. Like I always tell my wife, like, all I want is for them to say, "Great story," because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
More so than anything, I'm a writer.
Yeah.
So I always want best screenplay, best writing, best concept. More so best concept too, because my writing is different than other concepts. Like I don't write the gangster stuff, and I don't write the stuff that you've seen before.
Yeah.
Mine is like it's a concept that might be based on something, but there's a spin, or there's something that you just have not seen. So when they look at it, first thing they think, oh, great concept, but then they get to, yeah, but you can hardly hear it in this section.
Yeah.
And I already know that. So when I hear that, I was like, okay, because I had to sacrifice that because I couldn't get the people. And it's more so, like we go back to the question before, is getting the people committed. Because I would always get people to commit themselves to being there, even when you're paying them. But you got to think, this is an indie film, and it's they look at it like it's an indie film.
Yeah.
And
if something better comes along.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay you $100, but they're thinking like, on the weekend, driving Uber, you can probably make 200.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
So they say, so a lot of times they bail. So it's almost about, you have to, like, what are your motivation? Are you trying to get in Hollywood? Because if you're not trying to get in Hollywood, then you probably won't make it. There's a lot of sacrifice that come with it. But I think a good budget, if you have no actors, no talent, and no heavy hitters that has to do it, the cinematography, the lighting, or even camera people, like the grips and all that stuff, probably like 150 or 250,000. But if you can get a named actor, they probably gonna want half the budget right off the bat, 50,000 or something like that. Then it'd be 250, 300. $1 million is usually what they consider pretty good. Just to get on the board.
Isn't that silly though? It's so much money.
Because you think about just Tarantino when he did Reservoir Dogs. He had, they were all kind of heavy hitters. Not really heavy hitters.
But they were somewhat known, like Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel was the big one. When he came on board, he got everybody else.
Oh yeah.
Like everybody was, Harvey Keitel's in it.
Yeah.
So everybody else jumped on board.
Totally.
But that movie cost what, $3 million?
Wow.
And it made no money because it was so low budget and the marketing. But it's an iconic movie now, but it didn't really make money then.
Oh man, that's wild to think that movie didn't make money when it first came out. I bet you with DVD sales and stuff though, like because when they re-released that thing like years later.
Oh yeah, like, DVD sales, it probably did.
Oh man,
they never tell you numbers from DVD.
It's true. Yeah. Wow, that's wild. No, thanks for doing that though. That was an interesting breakdown. So that is something to consider. I think that a lot of like young filmmakers, I don't know if they know that, like the benefit that you get from having a name talent associated with your project. Not only can it bring you more talent, it can bring you more funding, and it brings recognition for the project. It gets people on board. So it makes sense that they're going to take a big chunk of the money that's available.
Well, they're the eyeballs because you have to have somebody on there. Like I saw on one channel where they was saying, man, if I see Eric Roberts in another movie.
Eric Roberts, man.
Eric Roberts is like
out there,
all the indies, and it's just like you see him for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He's on the cover. It's like, Eric Roberts. I love Eric Roberts.
I love him too. Yeah.
But it's like when they show him on the cover, like he's gonna be the star of the movie, and he's playing a bit part.
He's the dude by the windmill.
Yeah.
Like, well, looks like tides are turning.
Hey kid, watch out for those gangsters in the back, and then that's it. Yeah,
here's my
50,000.
In the movie are like, thanks. Was that Eric Roberts?
Yeah.
I feel like they should just start doing that for him. Like, he's just Eric Roberts at this point. Oh man. But the guy still delivers, though. I remember watching him in was it one of the Dark Knight movies?
He was in that Dark Knight.
Yeah. And he's been in other really interesting films since then, But he still pops up in all the indies.
I love his I like his persona in movies.
Yeah.
And I would love to like get him to do something like a lead part in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But to get him in the lead is probably way more money than that.
I mean, I haven't seen him as like a lead actor since like the '90s. I feel like, you know, it was such a different character actor at that point. He's great though. I've always enjoyed him.
Yeah. Him, and then you see, man, I forget his name. The guy who plays Machete. He's like
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah,
he's in everything.
Ooh, Danny Trejo also. What a treasure.
And they said, I saw him in an interview, and he talked about, well, yeah, you know, I just take 10,000, and then you know, he does like a little part, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of actors are starting to do that. They just do like little parts. Even Bruce Willis, before he stopped acting, he was doing little parts for like, you know, 50,000, 100,000.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
Makes sense.
That's like probably all your budget.
Man, it must be nice though, like to be able to make like some good change just off of your craft like that easily, you know.
Yeah.
Like it would be nice to get to that point at some point in my life, you know. That'd be cool.
Well, you'll get there.
We'll see. We'll
We'll all get there.
Yeah. Let's hope we all get there.
I'm projecting myself into the future, and
Yeah.
I already see myself there.
Yeah, that's nice. Do you think like visualizing where you want to go with your career is like an important like aspect of growth?
What they say, you got to see it to be it.
Yeah.
Right. And,
Yeah.
you know, just like any construction project, right? I mean, an architect is designing something. If you don't have a design for your life, then you don't know. I mean, if you're just out there, you just want to be a working actor. Okay, you'll be a working actor. Making no money.
Yeah.
There's people that's been doing it for forever.
Yeah.
But as soon as you kind of visualize where you want to be at, and that's the goal, you're shooting for that goal no matter what. Like, I'll probably do anything. I'm listening to Samuel Jackson. He has a master class.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah. And what did he say? They said, would you, how did you select your roles? He said, I took everything.
Yeah.
I took everything. Because half of them you're not going to get anyway.
Yeah.
But you need to be there so somebody can see you.
Yeah.
So that they can, they select things for you. That's how he got in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
You know, Tarantino saw him in some other movie.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, he's like, hey man, I wrote something for you. And then 2 years later, he's giving him a call. Hey man, I still got this movie for you. You still down? Oh yeah. So it's like you have to be there because all these other people are there looking at you or seeing you.
Yeah.
And then a lot of stuff that they were in, no pay, nothing. But it got them either an Oscar nomination or something, you know, like Jennifer Lopez.
Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez, like she's already famous.
Oh yeah.
They didn't have money to pay her for the one movie. What did like the stripper?
Oh yeah. That was a good movie. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it's called.
She was a producer.
Yeah.
She came in as a producer, no money,
There you go.
and she
saw something.
was on the table for an Oscar. I mean, she didn't get nominated, but
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
people were talking a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, because
they were mad.
We hadn't seen like a good performance from her in a long time. I feel like
yeah,
you know, like,
and they got mad because she didn't win anything.
Yeah.
But you have to see it. Like I was looking at this list of all of these different actors who they were just in things no money, like all the Friday people. That's all they complain about. It's like I didn't get no money from Ice Cube, paid me nothing. But almost everybody on that show went on to make big things, especially Chris Tucker.
Oh yeah.
Chris Tucker went on to be a major, Hollywood star.
Oh man,
for a while.
he retired.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
$25 million a movie.
Yeah.
So it's like you just have to be in things because you don't know
true.
what's going to be the breakout. Bruce Willis did the same thing. Even after he got famous, he was doing the little movies. Like he got in, Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. He was already famous. He wanted to play John Travolta's part.
Yeah.
But they were just like, we
Nah.
can't push you, but
Yeah.
what about this one right here?
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, just to be in it. And the movie ends up being, pop icon.
Oh man, like he's the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Do you think that as an artist that you bear any sort of responsibility to your audience?
I think you do. I mean, just as a human being, you bear responsibility to mankind.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, because it's always about making things better.
Yeah.
Everything's about making things better, or teaching somebody that karmic law do exist. So if you're a rotten person, then eventually you're looking at your life, rotten things are going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if it happens later. Like
Yeah.
now we're in the year where you're starting to see the big wigs fall, who you didn't even think would fall, and then people just coming after them. But when you're good to people,
Yeah.
people help you.
Yeah.
Or you can create something that make somebody think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even with me just talking about just the interviews that I've heard and how, Schwarzenegger came from nothing. They didn't have a film industry. They didn't even have a weightlifting industry, a bodybuilding industry.
Yeah, not really.
Like the little minute one. And then he branched off from that to this, to this, to this.
Yeah, he changed it all.
Yeah, by looking at somebody else doing it and saying positive things, whether they was positive or not. But you put out the positive information, positive vibes, and you're constantly pushing things forward, then it is your responsibility to tell somebody. And for them to do the same thing.
Oh, that's great. So, where do you take your inspiration from?
So far as a filmmaking or writing or...
Sure. Either one. Whichever you would like to answer.
Well, the thing is, I feel like I am a storyteller by birth.
Yeah.
It's like my nature. Stories just pop in my brain, and I have to write it down. I have to write notes. Like I probably got more notes of screenplays that I could, I should be writing, but then another, idea comes to throw me off that. But then my inspiration mostly comes from the people that did it.
Yeah.
They said from testimonials, we know that it's possible to live an exceptional life.
Yeah.
And you can. If you look at all these different people's stories, like you look at Tarantino's story, how his mom told him he wasn't a good writer. You're not a good writer, you need to stop. She read a screenplay and got mad at him. And he said, when I make it, you ain't gonna get nothing.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
I don't know the story.
That was one of the stories that, it comes off and then he made it.
Yeah. She got nothing? I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, so, it's people like that. And even the Robert Rodriguez story.
Yeah.
The $5,000 that he spent to make the movie, and he had to borrow it from the set of the Chocolate, and
Oh, wow.
on the weekends he had to sell plasma and blood just to get the money.
Wow.
And it took him all those months, a couple of years just to get it.
That is inspiring.
Couldn't afford to pay nobody, so the lead actor in the film, El Mariachi, was his buddy. They had to set up all those different scenes. He had to cut it himself. And this is back when you had to actually cut the film.
Yeah, yeah.
These people.
Yeah.
And even, what's the other guy? Clerks.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Kevin Smith.
What? Absolutely.
What, 25,000, I think he said he
Something
did
like that, yeah.
And right out of the place he worked in.
Yeah.
Like I said, self-contained location.
Yeah.
No money, all friends.
Yeah.
That's in it. Even when you go to the credits right now, you'll see, it's like all the spots are blank because they were actors who wasn't actors, and then you just see Kevin Smith and Silent Bob, the guy who played Silent Bob.
Yeah.
Because now they're established actors, so on the IMDb page, they're there, but the rest of the people are just like blank spots.
Wow.
But yeah, those people inspire me because they saw it,
Yeah.
they did it, they made it, and now some of those people are icons,
Yeah.
especially Tarantino.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's considered one of the greatest now.
Yeah, and it's funny, it's like all these people that you're talking about, they all kind of came up around the same time. But it seems to be the case. Like, I think there was something bubbling in Hollywood at that time, just in the industry in general, and like with technology, like everything was just slightly more accessible than it was. And like literally Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, and Kevin Smith, I think they all blew up on the scene like the same year, sort of, It's pretty wild. I think they were all in Sundance together.
They all got to, no, they got the con.
Maybe that was.
They all got the con.
Yeah,
And
sure.
that's where they ended up meeting. Tarantino met Robert Rodriguez there.
Yeah.
And I forget the other guy. It was another guy. He was pretty big at the time, and he kind of faded off. But
It happens. Cool. Oh, looks like we're getting close to your stop here. So I'm just going to ask one more question. This one's a little interesting one, so take your time with it and answer however you feel comfortable. All right. So if this was the last day here on this earthly realm, right? You got an hour left to live. What would you like to do to accomplish with that final hour?
Wow, 1 hour. What can you do?
I don't know. What can you do?
Well, My main thing in life is, what I always, tell people, even tell my wife. I want to be known as writer, producer, director Sheldon Woodson passed away today.
Yeah.
I have a master's degree, from University of Phoenix.
Oh.
I've got an honorary doctorate from 2 different film festivals,
Oh, wow.
both from overseas.
That's cool.
For filmmaking.
Yeah.
I've served in the military 24 years.
Yeah.
So I'm retired military.
Mm.
So when you think about my career, and right now I work in real estate, but I don't want to be known for none of that.
Mm.
It has to be writer, producer, director of these iconic movies passed away today. Let's give him a moment of silence. Everybody, world over, get that moment of silence, because my films has made like a difference. Because right now, that's what I write. My films, I call them spiritual mysteries, because in each one of them there's like a seed of hermetic information there. Like it's basically teaching you a lesson to respect nature and people, and if these things didn't exist, you wouldn't exist.
Exactly, yeah.
Kind of like if you ever watched the movie Come Outside on Tubi.
Oh, okay.
Well, my film Come Outside on Tubi.
Word. Yeah, word.
There's the story, but there's always the underlining story. All right, because you got to write for both. There's people who can get the metaphoric meanings, and then there's people, we call it, esoteric, exoteric. The exoteric is what people see, like in religion.
Yeah.
When you talk about religion, people just know what you tell them, the Bible, what the words say on the, and, take everything literally. But then the esoteric person, they read the inner meaning of it. Like, what does it mean to me inside, my heart, my spirit? Which I think is really what the universe is trying to teach us about life, about nature, about people, how we all are really interconnected. Like there's really no difference between us. We're interconnected, and it's just these philosophies and dogmas and all the other stuff that creates difference, and have us fighting and all this other stuff. But when they talk about me, to say that, like, man, this guy was great, man. Who do you like better, Kubrick or Sheldon?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I want to go out like that.
Sheldon.
Kubrick or Sheldon.
I like that.
My aspiration is to get to the levels, God willing.
Yeah.
The most successful producer, director in the business is Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I want to get to that level of filmmaking.
Ooh, I like that.
So I don't even really like saying indie, even though that's where I'm at right now. That's my position at this moment. But my projection is to be there, there in that spot.
Well, Sheldon, I really hope you get there. This has been a real pleasure. I really enjoyed talking to you about your, filmmaking philosophy, all these concepts like that you've been talking about. It's really enlightening.
All right. Let me just leave just one.
Yeah.
Just one last thing.
Yeah.
Like there's there's something like there's a knowing, and there's a I wish, or like Yoda says. Somebody says, "Are you going to be here today?" I'll try. Well, what does Yoda say about that?
There's no try.
There's no try.
No. Do or do not.
Yeah, do or do not. Yeah. And that's my thing. Like, I don't live off of the words hope or all this stuff. It's like, I'm going to be there unless God himself says no and take me out of here. So in essence, when you project yourself there, I know, just like when you have an apple seed, it's a red apple seed, it's a gala. If you put it in the ground, it's not going to come up as anything other than a gala or a gala.
Yeah.
However you say it.
I don't know how it's pronounced either.
or delicious. Yeah, gala, anything. I don't You can't plant an orange seed and expect the apple is gonna be an orange.
Yeah,
so that's the thing. It's like the seed of being there is there.
Yeah.
And That's me. I'm already that.
Yeah.
I just have to come up out of the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
and get to that spot.
Well, I look forward to watching the journey.
All right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be a part of this journey in some way, and maybe we'll be able to see your stuff online and have you back and promote something else. You know.
Well, you already are.
Yeah.
I'm here. You're here.
Lovely. Lovely. Cool. All right. Well, it's been a real pleasure. Thanks again for riding the train, man.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you guys next time on Train Talk.